Okay, so Rishi, this is the agenda that we will follow for this 14 to 16 hours, whatever we take to finish it. Okay, and yeah, as I said, let's try to close it in 2 weeks' time, and maybe we planned 1 hour, but yeah, as long as you and me both flexible, few days we can extend more than an hour, and so that we are able to finish it in 2 weeks' time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you look at the agenda, very much what I have included is everything that FSC offers, right? I will not be going outside FSC. I'll limit the discussion to FSC. But if you have question outside FSC as well, I can try to answer. Yeah.
My questions outside of FSC is going to be mostly on the what do you call it, on the infrastructure part, which I don't want to know about the functionalities. That pretty much even I am aware of. I'm not saying that I know everything, but I'm aware of. But what I'm saying is, like for example, today, if I'm building a custom application for my KYC thing, right? We haven't yet we're not going down the path of financial services cloud. I'm doing this so that I can be more knowledgeable. That's the reason why I'm doing financial services cloud, because we don't know when this might come in handy. Because initially we had done a good study about the financial services cloud and what it actually has. So we saw all these things that what you have on the screen right now, the householding and the the relationship that. So for KYC is a regulatory thing. So we didn't find this very suitable. So we are going with the normal Salesforce platform. So generally when we buy a Salesforce license, right? We get Marketing Cloud, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud. These applications are already there when you are going for an unlimited edition, or what do you call it? What is that? That org level license or whatever it is.
They have different licensing model. They can even customize to based on your requirement.
So when we talk about SFDC, right? When you talk about SFDC, that doesn't include financial services cloud. Am I correct?
Yeah. So they have basically they have first of all a lot of products, right? And licensing also for each product they have different licensing model. If I talk about FSC as well, so FSC you have the basic FSC license plus you have some add-ons, right? If you want to have some analytics out of the box analytics capability, that is provided by Einstein. So if you need to buy separately Einstein, there are some feature which may be enabled through Omni Studio. You need a separate license. But when you talk to Salesforce, you can get customized license as well, right? Based on what you need for your organization, they can customize it. I think they don't have a kind of generic kind of a license. I think they can make it suitable for you. Basically, that's what I know. But in general, they have a lot of different licensing model for each product.
So let's say if my team wants to focus only on, let's say, Service Cloud. Okay. But when they give me the license, it's going to have the Sales Cloud and Marketing Cloud also included, right? Or are they only going to give me
only? When you say service, they will have Sales plus service, right? Because you will still need those core objects of Sales Cloud, right? So service is basic. Yeah. So sales and service they will give you. Marketing is different, right? Community is just different. All others are different, right?
Yeah. But from the setup screen, I can do the basic configuration or the basic declarative approach I can take, right? Like if I want to create some workflow rules, or if I want to things are possible.
See, basic platform things. Okay, I will talk about that in next slide so that you understand a bit. I'll talk about the products and history. Okay. So this is what you were discussing, right? If you talk about Salesforce ecosystem, we hear a lot of different cloud, right? Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Community, Marketing Cloud, CPQ, Einstein, Field Service Lightning, a lot of things, right? So I'll just give you some background, right? So how this has been evolved. So Salesforce, when they started around in 1999, right? So what they started with was a sales cloud, right? Which was basically an application on cloud. It was just a software on a cloud which allowed you to manage sales cycle from anywhere. Basically, this was one of the first application on cloud, right? Where users can just log in from anywhere through browser and they could basically manage sale, right? So that was the selling point when they started, right? Moving from on-premise to cloud, right? Everything basically accessible from anywhere. That was the selling point. Now, after the launch of Sales Cloud, they started evolving, right? They expanding their product. So in basically, if you see around 2006, they launched something called as Apex. Apex is their proprietary programming language, right? Which basically allows you to code on the Salesforce platform, right? And then they also launched a UI framework called Visual Force. So using Visual Force, you can create your own custom pages, right? I mean, if you are not happy with what is provided out of the box, you can create your own page, right? So that's what they launched in 2016, and that made it more like a platform, right? I mean, if you see
Yep.
Sales Cloud, when they launched, it was just an application. By adding Apex and Visual Force, it became more like a platform where users can customize the application, they can program, they could uh, create their own pages, right? And then in 2008, about they came up with 2008 or 9, they came up with Service Cloud, right, to manage basically case management and other service related features. Then around 2012, they came up with Marketing Cloud, right? And this Marketing Cloud was not basically a homegrown application. They acquired 2 3 different application, and and that's
And
what you see.
Pardot was one of them, right?
Yeah. Then that was Marketing Cloud. Then they launched Communities in 2014, right? So Community is basically to manage larger group of people, like agents, employees, partners, right? So they launched Communities for 2014. Then on other thing on 2014 they did was they launched another UI framework. So far we were using Visual Force page, right? And Visual Force page was, and that time Salesforce, we called it as a classic platform, right? The reason was basically so in 2014 when they launched Lightning UI framework, it was completely they basically improved on their UI, and it was again a proprietary framework. They made it open source, but the main differentiation was that they moved away from page centric model of Visual Force to component centric model, right? I mean, in what we do using Lightning Aura is we create in a page, you can have multiple components, right? So instead of it basically improve, I mean, the whole idea was to do with mobile, right? In mobile, basically you need performance, and when they had this Visual Force page, right, it was a page centric. The entire you need basically entire page is processed on the server and loaded on the browser. So that was not suitable for mobile, right? Because that basically brings in latency, right? So that was the main reason they moved away from classic to Lightning. So in Lightning, they basically started with I mean, the idea was moving away from page centric model to component centric model, right? In a page you could have multiple different components interacting and giving you the whatever UI you needed. So that was more, I mean, that was suitable for mobile. Then if you see in the UI framework space again, in 2019 they basically improved further, and they launched something Lightning called Lightning Web Component, right? So, and today if you see, for all UI customization, right, we use Lightning Web Component, right? And what was the difference? I mean, why they went away from Aura to Lightning Web Component was more to do with the enhancement or the improvement that we have in the web standards, right? So Aura was more of a proprietary framework, and what they have done with LWC, they have aligned it to web standard, right? So when you say web standard, basically everything basically processed on the browser, right? I mean, web standard, basically when we say, I mean, your framework is basically aligned to your ECMAScript, right? I mean, there is, I mean, a lot of things, I mean, most of the things in LWC is processed by the browser, which makes, I mean, definitely it will improve the performance. In Aura, it has to be processed by
Yeah.
the framework on the server, whereas in LWC everything is processed on the browser. So it definitely adds a lot to the performance, right? So that's the reason, I mean, now today if you see everything for all UI customization, right, we use LWC.
So LWC
Then
is what? Lightning Web Component. That is like how you can edit the Lightning page and you can create a customized
see,
Lightning page. That one you're
yeah,
talking about?
yeah. So if you see, right, all these cloud, right, you talk about Sales Cloud, Service Cloud. As I said, for customize, when you talk about say Salesforce customization, there are two things, right? One is basically they have provided you programming capabilities using Apex, right? You can write your trigger, backend processes, right? I mean, when something happens, you want to process something, right? You can have some synchronous processing, you can have some asynchronous processing, you can have some integrations, right? Everything made can be coded through Apex, right?
Yeah.
Second thing is UI customization. Now, for all the application, you are getting you are getting out of the box pages. Now, what out of the box when we say, I mean, Salesforce is providing you page layouts, right? Page layouts is out of the box. When you see the records, it is basically out of the box page layout, right? And then for each of the product, they're also now giving you a lot of pre-built Lightning web component. Now, if you're not happy with what is provided out of the box in terms of UI that you see, you can customize it, right? You can create your own components.